It was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that, not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do.
History of sports right now is going on with the WNBA and their referees. They suck. That is a byproduct of the referees not having done their jobs.
Protecting the star player of the WNBA.
She's not wrong. She's right about it. It's been a buildup of all the years.
Caitlin Clark took another brutal hit, and Sophie Cunningham snapped. She didn't just defend her teammate, she called out the refs for years of corruption and bias.
Sophie Cunningham stays standing on business.
You're not going to take down my teammate, who happens to be the star of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
Now, she's reportedly preparing to sue, accusing WNBA officials of being cheaters who failed the league's biggest star.
Sophie Cunningham became the protector of Caitlin Clark.
Can't keep my hands to myself. I mean, I could, but why would I want to?
Some say she went too far. Others say it's about time. Drop a CC 100% in the comments, because this fight just turned legal.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
No comparison to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the most must-watch basketball player in world basketball right now. There's nobody that does what Caitlin Clark does.
How special and rare Caitlin Clark is.
Caitlin Clark is a gifted player.
Caitlin is the one.
She's the biggest basketball star in the world.
Sophie Cunningham didn't just make noise. She made a statement that shook the league. In a tense matchup against the Connecticut Sun, chaos erupted after Caitlin Clark took a finger to the eye from J.C. Sheldon.
Cunningham became a viral sensation over the last week after committing a hard foul on Suns guard J.C. Sheldon, who poked Clark in the eye earlier in the game. A brawl between the teams ensued, with Cunningham at the center of it.
But it wasn't just another foul. This one turned into a flashpoint. With just 40 seconds left, Sophie came charging in.
Sophie Cunningham has come out and called it out, and of course, where Cunningham fully embraced her enforcer role for this team,
delivered a hard foul on Sheldon, and all hell broke loose. 3 players were tossed from the game, but the moment that captured everyone's attention wasn't just the clash. It was the deeper message behind it.
It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA.
Sophie was done being silent. She refused to sit idly by while Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest draw,
she didn't say stars in the WNBA. She said the star of the WNBA. She completely and fully gets it.
Kept taking hit after hit, game after game, with no consequences. And when the cameras turned to her afterward, Sophie didn't sugarcoat anything. It was part of the game, she said, but the referees played a big role in what happened. This has been building for years. They refused to protect the top player in the WNBA.
During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so.
She didn't say a star. She said the star. That wasn't just an offhand comment. It was a direct accusation, and one that painted the WNBA's officiating as either totally negligent or intentionally biased. To fans, it felt like she was exposing a broken system, maybe even a rigged one.
If Sophie Cunningham didn't do what she did, that is the blueprint to beat the fever. If she did not do what she did, the blueprint to beat the fever would be, you can rough up Caitlin Clark.
This wasn't the first time Caitlin had been knocked down, shoved, or fouled hard with no call. But this was the first time someone responded with fire and made it clear that waiting for the refs to do the right thing wasn't an option anymore. Sophie wasn't just defending a teammate. She was calling out the entire league on the record.
You're not going to take down my teammate, who happens to be the star of the WNBA.
For failing to protect its own investment. The message fans and commentators had been shouting for weeks was suddenly echoed on the court. Caitlin Clark is being hunted, and the officials are letting it slide. Some would even call it cheating by neglect. What followed said everything. Sophie's jersey rocketed to the top of the WNBA sales chart, even surpassing Caitlin's. Why? because people finally saw someone take a stand.
Her jersey is the #1 selling jersey in the WNBA. Sold out. Her jersey surpassed the all-time woman, Caitlin Clark, because Sophie Cunningham stood up for Caitlin Clark.
They saw a teammate willing to risk getting suspended, fined, or thrown out because defending Clark meant more than just following the rules. This wasn't about violence. It was about respect. Sophie Cunningham went from social media fashion influencer to WNBA hero overnight, and not because of a highlight reel play, but because she did what no one else would: stand between Caitlin and the next cheap shot.
Clark scored 32, dished out 9 assists to become the first player in WNBA history to have 100 points, 30 rebounds, 30 assists in a player's first 5 games of a season.
And if her words don't shake the league, maybe her actions will. Because when it takes one player putting everything on the line just to demand fairness, something is seriously wrong. And Sophie made sure the world saw it loud and clear.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from 3. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from 3-point range.
Fans have been watching it play out for weeks. Game after game, hit after hit, and still not a single whistle, no flagrant calls, no intervention.
Seeing how things are done, and after you've seen what it looks like to get it right, and you come in and see something looking really wrong, you're going to call it out.
What started as tough defense has spiraled into something far more dangerous, a pattern of blatant negligence from WNBA officials. Sophie Cunningham's viral retaliation wasn't just heat of the moment. It was the final spark in a powder keg the league has been ignoring. The referees aren't just missing calls. They're failing their job.
WNBA and their referees, they suck. And they also will not come down on these players for trying to take out the league's greatest asset.
And Caitlin Clark is the one paying the price. Some are now calling it cheating by omission. This outrage didn't begin with Sophie. It began with the silence. When game after game, Clark got elbowed, shoved, tripped, and eye-poked. She's taken shots from players like Kennedy Carter and Marina Mabrey, and still, the refs treat her like she's invisible.
How is she doing? Is there any timeline for her return?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day to day, and for us to just make sure that we're continuing to be supportive of DB in her.
One incident had her knocked to the ground, only for both her and the offender to be issued equal penalties. The foul on Mabrey? Only upgraded after the game was over. By then, the damage was done, and the message was clear. Caitlin Clark is on her own.
Everybody knows that you can punk the Indiana Fever. Everybody knows that if you get physical and you rough up Caitlin Clark, the referees aren't going to do anything.
Because the refs won't step in. Now, even those inside the game are speaking up. Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White has criticized the officiating publicly. So has basketball analyst Rebecca Lobo. And Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back either. Her post-game interview laid it bare. This is a buildup of years of refs not protecting the star player of the WNBA. That's not a casual complaint. That's a full-blown indictment. And it hits at the very heart of what the league is failing to confront. The WNBA has never had this level of exposure. Every time Clark takes the court, it's national TV. Seats are sold out, merch is flying, but the officiating, it's stuck in the past.
But in a league where the referees let the game get completely out of hand, every game, like it's not a one-off. Every game, every close game gets out of hand.
Or worse, getting sloppier. This isn't officials are letting games unravel, and in doing so, they're setting a tone where anything goes against Caitlin Clark. Let's call it what it is. Jealousy plays a role. Clark's stardom has been explosive, and not everyone's thrilled about it. Veterans who've spent years building their careers are suddenly pushed aside by a rookie dominating headlines and ticket sales. And instead of protecting her, the referees seem to pull back, as if giving her fair calls would be seen as bias. So they let it slide. They miss the hits. They pretend this is just letting them play. But what they're really doing is feeding the resentment and endangering a star.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
It's a systematic problem. Early fouls get ignored, tempers build, and when things finally boil over, it's already too late. Players get tossed after the harm is done. The physical play becomes calculated. Even when refs stop to review, they take too long and still make the wrong call. That's not bad luck. That's reckless officiating, and it's putting careers at risk. Sophie didn't tiptoe around the issue either. If the refs had done their job, that fight never would have happened. That's not frustration. That's a direct charge against their credibility. Because let's be honest, this isn't just about one game. If Caitlin Clark, the player drawing millions of viewers, breaking records and selling out arenas, can't get protected on the court, what does that say about the league's priorities? Does it mean it's open season on the stars? That targeting a rookie is just part of the strategy now? That the WNBA would rather stay silent than face its own flaws? And Sophie isn't alone in calling this out. Courtney Williams, sports commentators, and even rival coaches have admitted something's wrong. This isn't just bad reffing. It's hurting the sport's reputation. And what Sophie did, whether you agree with her method or not, thrust the issue into the spotlight more forcefully than any post-game tweet or technical foul ever could. Because when the referees stop enforcing the rules, and a player has to step in and act as the enforcer, that's no longer a sport, it's survival mode. And if the league wants to avoid a lawsuit, a scandal, or worse, someone getting seriously injured, they need to fix this now, because every moment they wait, more players will start taking justice into their own hands. And one day, that decision may cost the league more than just bad press.
Wasn't it like, how many people? There was a lot of people from Indiana on there.
Yeah, it was like their whole starting five was in the top. Their whole starting five was on that list. Their whole starting five, even folks that came off their bench was on that list, bro. No cap. That's crazy, bro. But that really show you the influence that like Caitlin Clark got, though.
No, that is, bro.
Her influence is insane.
And people
bro.
try to say that like, what?
Like,
man,
come on,
I'm stuttering. Like, come on, G. Like, let's just state the fact.
Like, it's folks coming off of, like,
fact,
come on, bro. You got folks coming off of her bench, like, off of their bench that's in that top 40, bro. Like, her influence is crazy. Like, you can't even hate on it because it's like...
You got motion.
You got like, real deal motion.
You got motion, bro.
Real deal motion, bro. She got real deal motion.
Caitlin Clark isn't just another athlete. She's the fuel behind the WNBA's biggest surge in popularity. From exploding TV ratings to packed arenas, viral highlight reels to record-breaking jersey sales, it's all happening because of her. She's not only changing the way the game is played, she's carrying the entire league's momentum.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA, and Sophie Cunningham is not going to pretend that she's not.
And yet, the way the league treats her doesn't reflect that. Instead of receiving the protection given to a franchise player, she's being treated like just another rookie. And that mismatch isn't just insulting, it's putting her in real danger. Let's talk numbers. Clark isn't just leading the All-Star voting. She's dominating it.
It's certainly going to set some sort of record for amount of votes casted compared to last year, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like we're on track for that, which just shows how much engagement we're driving across the league for all different sorts of players and teams. And, that's exactly what the league needs, is people excited about that type of stuff and wanting to be involved and feeling like, their vote really counts and feeling like they can make an impact on the All-Star game. So it's really exciting to see. And hopefully as we continue to go here year to year to year, it just continues to grow.
The gap between her and the next name isn't small, it's historic. In fact, 4 players from the Indiana Fever made it into the top 10, and some of them barely see court time. Why? Because fans aren't just voting for Indiana, they're voting for anyone connected to Caitlin. That's how powerful her presence is. She's not just lifting her own name, she's elevating teammates, opponents, and yes, even the officials being criticized for letting her get battered. That level of impact can't be manufactured. You can't fake the buzz Clark brings to every arena she enters.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from 3. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from 3-point range.
Her games land in primetime slots. Road games are sellouts. Kids wear her jersey proudly, and adults wait in line to meet her. Even rival players have acknowledged what she brings to the league. Her presence is undeniable, and it's reshaping the business of women's basketball.
She posted this on social media right here.
Can't keep my hands to myself. I mean, I could, but why would I want to?
I mean, that's funny. That's funny. She put in the caption, "It's a joke."
But here's the tension. As Clark boosts everything around her, she also draws resentment. Longtime players, tired of being overlooked, now have to answer to the Clark effect. Some don't like it, and rather than rise to the occasion, they lash out physically, trying to humble her, trying to knock her down. That's what's really behind many of these so-called hard fouls. They're not about stopping a play, they're about sending a message.
It was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that, not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do.
That is a byproduct of the referees not having done their jobs.
Protecting the star player of the WNBA.
She's not wrong. She's right about it. It's been a buildup of all the years.
And because the referees won't establish boundaries, they're letting it happen. Whether intentionally or through inaction, they're enabling this behavior. And that, some argue, is a form of cheating the rules by looking the other way. Now, Clark plays every night with a target on her back. Not because she talks trash or plays dirty, but because she's too good. She's too popular. And in a league where some veterans feel overshadowed and where referees seem determined not to appear biased, the result is the most dangerous thing imaginable.
I don't even lean into the negative. So I literally just block people. Like, I promise you, like, if it seemed mixy to me, I press the block button. Like, I have people be like, why you block? I don't know. You said something that rubbed me wrong. But I always lean into the positive side of the internet and the fans. Like, none of that bothers me, bro, because it's not real. You don't know.
Doing nothing. That's not balance. That's recklessness. But this isn't just about fouls or rivalries. It's about legacy. Caitlin Clark isn't a flash in the pan. She's not a trending name for a single season. She's a generational star with the power to shape the WNBA's next decade. And if she ends up seriously hurt because the referees didn't do their job, the fallout won't just affect her. It'll impact the league's finances, its reputation, and its future. She's not just a player. She's the WNBA's most valuable brand. And protecting that isn't playing favorites, it's good business. Yet despite all that, some fans still blame her for the spotlight. Some players act like she hasn't earned it. Worst of all, league leadership continues treating her like she's just another cog in the machine, instead of the engine driving it forward.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. Just so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
That's what made Sophie Cunningham's actions so important. She didn't just protect a teammate. She raised a red flag the league refused to acknowledge. Even rivals have admitted it. Courtney Williams, during a Twitch stream, joked about how even Indiana's bench warmers were getting all-star votes just because of Clark's impact. Her words, "Her influence is insane. Real deal motion." That wasn't sarcasm. It was respect. Still, others in the league treat the answer like it's to rough her up until she learns her place. But here's the thing. Clark knows her place. It's right in the center of a movement. It's as the figurehead of a league finally grabbing mainstream attention. She's not asking for special treatment. She's asking for protection. Because the WNBA cannot afford to lose her. The league is standing at a crossroads. It can choose to support its biggest star and secure the future. Or it can keep ignoring the warning signs and risk destroying everything she's helping build. Sophie Cunningham has already made her choice. The fans, they're making theirs too. That's why hashtag CC100% is flooding comment sections. That's why Sophie's jersey sold out. And that's why arenas are full of signs demanding one thing: protect Caitlin. Because this isn't just about a single rookie. This is about whether the WNBA is ready to protect the opportunity it's been waiting for, or let it collapse in silence.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. I'm so happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
The WNBA asked for the spotlight, and now they've got it. But how they respond next could decide the entire future of the league. Caitlin Clark has become the face of this movement, but even the brightest light can fade without protection.
Until somebody sends a message by standing up to them, holding their ground, happens over and over and over.
Sophie Cunningham saw the danger and chose to act, calling out the referees, accusing them of years of neglect, and now potentially preparing for legal action. She didn't whisper, she roared. And the fans? We heard her. We rallied behind her. Because this is about more than just basketball, it's about justice, integrity, and standing up for the one player who's pulling the WNBA into the mainstream.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. Just so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. I'm so happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
If league officials won't protect Clark, maybe now they'll be forced to answer in the court of law or the court of public opinion. So once again, if you stand with Caitlin, drop a CC 100% in the comments, because this battle is far from over and silence is no longer an option.